There is no downside to a side hustle. There are only benefits to building more than one source of income. Forbes.com. On today's episode, I'm back talking to my husband, business partner, and father of my kiddos, Ethan King. You don't want to miss this one. We are talking side hustles, fitness, mindset, and funnels. Welcome to the Stitched for Success podcast, where we are teaching business and life lessons that will help you launch, grow, or scale your creative business. I am Monica Allen, and I'm a wife, mom, daughter, entrepreneur, author, friend, lifelong learner, and host of this podcast. For over 8 years, I was stuck in corporate and dreamt of escaping. Creating a side hustle with just $700 and having taken the leap over 15 years ago, we have since grown multiple six-figure and seven-figure brands. Being an entrepreneur for over 18 years has afforded me many successes and a few failures. I want to share those with you so you can grow and be successful in your business. This podcast is here to serve not only established entrepreneurs, but also here for aspiring entrepreneurs and side hustlers. While I tend not to talk very much about side hustling, I tend to focus on people who are in a full-time entrepreneurial position or speak to aspiring entrepreneurs, giving them information about starting their business. But today, we are going to talk about side hustling. Do you currently have a side hustle? Or if we choose not to use the current popular term, put simply, do you have another form of income? I am always excited to share with you my conversations with my guest today. Though he has been on the Stitch for Success podcast in the past, I want to give him a brief intro, and you can check out episode 8 to find out more about his entrepreneurial story. As a young adult, my guest today was a starving artist struggling to make ends meet while taking out the trash at a seedy Atlanta nightclub. After a scary encounter where he was robbed at gunpoint, he left his old life behind and harnessed his talents, co-founding our multiple seven-figure brands, Stuff for Greeks and Zeus Closet, where our clients have included celebrities such as Akon and Rick Ross, as well as major enterprises like Coca-Cola, BET, and Marvel Studios. For several years, he was Tyler Perry's exclusive graphic designer, and last year, he was named winner of the Best Self Atlanta magazine's Over 40 and Fabulous. He is my life partner and business partner, Ethan King. We have been together for almost 20 years, married for 18. Take a listen to my conversation with Ethan. All right, Ethan. So now I know you've been pulling some late nights creating a new business. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so I launched a new business called Six Pack Dads. And it's kind of crazy. I never thought I would be in any type of fitness business. I have no desire to be a personal trainer, a fitness trainer, anything like that. So at the end of, I guess this started around the summer of 2020. I started putting on more weight than I wanted to. We were staying at home, not going anywhere. I didn't have as much motivation to stay in shape. But I said to myself, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get back in shape because I know what to do. And I'll go a little bit more into the science behind it and how I learned that later on in the call. But I said, you know what, I'm going to make this happen, and got back into my ideal shape, got my six pack back, posted this picture on Instagram, and friends were hitting me up like, hey man, how'd you do that? What's your routine? What's your diet, this and that. And I typed out like like a day in the life, like here's what I do step by step. And I gave it to a few people and they just didn't take any action. So that set me on a mission. And I decided that I need to figure out how to get people to take action to really get the results that they want and that they're capable of having, because it's really just a step-by-step process. I barely go to the gym. I don't spend hours working out. I mean, we're working all the time. We have the kids, and we have businesses to run. We have employees. So there's not a bunch of free time in the day. And I figured out the formula to, within like 35, 45 minutes a day, to really maximize the results of your workout and your nutrition. And it really starts with mindset. But you can get that six pack that you want. It's not too far out of reach. And I built Six Pack Dads, which is an online course. It's a 6-week program. Doesn't require a gym membership. It doesn't require you to give up all the foods you love, but you can get that six pack abs in 6 weeks.
Cool. So yeah, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about it, being that it's called Six Pack Dads. And we have Father's Day coming up. I think that that is such a phenomenal thing for people to aim to have a six pack. What kind of results? I know you've run your first class already.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of results did you see?
Yeah, well, we've had 2 classes so far. So I run cohorts like every 6 weeks, and I'm making some changes to the program now, and we're about to launch our next cohort. But the results have been phenomenal. Like, I mean, if you go to sixpackdads.com and scroll down, you'll see the testimonials. We have people who've lost over 30 pounds that look completely different, like their bodies have transformed. Your life transforms when your body transforms. You literally feel like a new person. So to be honest, like that's the most rewarding part out of all of this. Yeah, it's another business, it's income, it's a side hustle, but this is different because there's the actual impact, the positive impact you're making in people's lives. And let's face it, as guys, in our 40s, I'm 43, and I look at a lot of my friends and I'm like, man, like we're in that age bracket now where if you don't take care of your health, you might not be able to come back from that. And it's really a sad thing. I want people to be here for their children's major life events, to be able to walk their daughter down the aisle, to be able to play with their grandkids and toss them around. But in order to do that, you have to have the right lifestyle. And it doesn't become a thing that you do, but it becomes the person that you are. And that's what Six Pack Dads is all about. It's not just about having a six pack so you can show off at the beach or whatever. Yeah, that's great. And that's definitely nice to have. But it's really, if someone has a six pack, then they're doing something right. I've never seen an out of shape person that had six pack abs. Now, I have seen people, especially guys, who just go to the gym and pump iron all day, and they may be strong and they may have big biceps and big chest and be big dudes, but then they have a pot belly underneath. Well, the problem with that is they're not truly healthy, because visceral fat, and that's the fat around your belly, that's the number one thing that's linked to cardiovascular disease. So you can be big and strong and lift weights all day, but if you have visceral fat, you could be gone just like that. So what good does it do? So I want people to be healthy from the inside out and to do things the right way so that you look good, you feel good. And when you look good and you feel good, you do good.
True. And I will admit, I took part in Six Pack Dad's first class or cohort. And I do feel good. I feel a lot better. I'm still pressing forward on my six pack. And I have a six pack, which I've never had before in my life.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. And I wanted to talk to you about just kind of, this is a side hustle for you. It's so many layers to this, because not only are you caring about people's health, which is something you didn't see yourself getting into, but the pandemic brought that out. But also now you have a side hustle. You already have a business, a couple of businesses, and now you have a side hustle. How are you managing your current business plus the side hustle that you have going?
Yeah, look, I'm a big believer in you should always have a side hustle. If you're an employee, have a side hustle that you work on nights and weekends in your free time. If you're a business owner, have that side hustle. If you think about the history of our business, every business that we've launched was a side hustle at one point. When you were working in insurance and I was working at the newspaper, Stuff for Greeks was our side hustle. But then we grew it to the point where Stuff for Greeks became our main hustle. And then when Stuff for Greeks outgrew our house and we bought the office building and moved our offices there, we said, oh, well, let's try opening the retail store, Zeus's Closet. So really, Zeus's Closet was our side hustle, while Stuff for Greeks was our main hustle, because we wanted to see how that would go. And now Zeus's Closet has grown. And then we did really our second location, like the Kennesaw store. Okay. In the franchising, it's like, okay, well, let's make that a side hustle. And we're growing that now. And so Six Pack Dads is another side hustle. And you have other side hustles that you're doing too, like interior design, the podcast. So you should always, man, life is short. So I'm not the type of person who wants to get like just pigeonholed into one thing, one career, one profession my entire life. I believe that you should love life, and whether it's work, play, it really should all be kind of the same, because you spend 1/3 of your life working. So make that enjoyable. Your work shouldn't be miserable and you counting down, looking at the clock until it's 4:59, 5 o'clock, and then you're out of there. So now you can go do the fun stuff that you want to do. Make your work enjoyable, and that's whether you're working for someone else or working for yourself. And I know we're huge advocates of entrepreneurship. So even if you're going to be a part-time entrepreneur, have something that's actually going to interest you, that's also providing you income. And if you can nail all three, because my big three right now are freedom, impact, and income. And I feel like Six Pack Dads is bringing all three of those to the table for me, because it's a digital business. So I don't need a bunch of team members. I have some VAs and stuff helping me out, but I don't need a huge staff to run Six Pack Dads. I also don't need equipment to fulfill orders, all that kind of stuff. It's digital. I've put in the hard work. I've done the recording. And you asked how I pulled this off. And I stayed up the late nights in the office, like building this course out for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and also building the ads and the funnels and all of that stuff. But you know what? You got to sacrifice it. You just, like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, if you want to accomplish more in life, you just have to sleep faster. Just
I like that.
Less, just sleep faster. And but I mean, you have to shave it off from somewhere, and sleep is hugely important. Don't get me wrong. In fact, that's a big part of the course. But we can make those temporary sacrifices to lay the foundation for a new business, just like we did when we were building stuff for Greeks and Zeus's Closet. We had those late nights. We pulled those all-nighters to lay the foundation. You can do anything for a short amount of time, and then once you've built it, it's there.
Yeah, you made so many good points in that. And I'm not going to even be able to go back and like hit them all right now. But just one, I want to, point out doing something you enjoy. Like we actually enjoy what we do, which is great and fun. And work is, like you mentioned, 1/3 of our lives. So it's great to enjoy it. But also just the point that you're doing something to impact people. That is what excited me when I started working on this and I saw results, and I feel better and I feel healthier. And I see the other people who had even greater results than I did. The fact that you're impacting people for the long term and not just changing their bodies, but changing their mindset. And so I really just wanted to talk to you about that because it's so phenomenal. And one of the things you mentioned something about a funnel. Now, I'm not very familiar with funnels, but can you tell us a little bit about what a funnel is and how is it different from other methods of marketing or building a website?
Sure. So if you think about your traditional website, like let's say you go to Amazon.com, HomeDepot.com, there's a million different things you could click on that page and buy your products and this and that. So there's a bunch of distractions. Even on Stuff for Greeks, we have a bunch of different things you can click on. There's a ton of things in the menu. The difference is with a funnel, there's one purpose to a funnel. So picture a web page where somebody lands on that web page, and there's really only one thing that they can do on that web page. So that is the beginning of your funnel. And what you want to do is get someone into your sales funnel. So let's say on that landing page, their conversion, what you want them to do is to join your email list. So you may be giving away like a free ebook or some type of coupon code or a checklist or something, where it's like put in your email address to get the free download. We've all been on sites like that. We've seen that before. Well, we know in this day and age, that you're getting on somebody's email marketing list when you put in your email address to get that free download. Well, now you are in their sales funnel. So if you think about a physical funnel, like to pour liquid in, well, once it goes in the top of the funnel is bigger, right? So you're going to have a whole bunch of people who get in the top of your funnel because they want that free thing that you're giving away. They're slightly interested. Those are a bunch of surface level people. They'll take the free thing and they'll get on your list. And then as they go down the funnel, like you have less people who are going to actually purchase something. Like you might have a small offer, like a $10 thing that you sell. Maybe it's a cookbook or something. And only a smaller amount of people are going to buy that thing. So your funnel is getting smaller. And then it goes up, and maybe your next thing is you have like a $500 thing that you sell. And then after that, you have like a $2,000 thing, or then like a $5,000 retreat. So the funnel gets smaller and smaller, but there are people who will buy every single thing in your funnel who are raving fans of your business because it delivers those results. And so that's what a funnel is, because it gets narrower as it goes down. And what you always want to do is have an automation set up so that people are always being poured into the top of your funnel. And what this does is create an ongoing revenue stream for you and a constant stream of people whose lives you're impacting.
Wow. Okay. So a funnel sounds like a great way to do business, especially if you can automate. And we're going to have you back to talk more about that, the whole automation and digital products, and just all of that sounds phenomenal, because right now we're producing a lot of products, physically having to produce a lot of products. And so it does seem to make sense that if you can go the digital route, or where you're not having to touch every single piece, then that's a good way to go. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to keep you long, but is there anything else you would like to share with the Stitch for Success audience today?
Yeah, I just want everybody to know, see, the main thing that sets apart Six Pack Dads, there's a ton of fitness programs out there. It's not just a fitness program. The mindset is key. In fact, one of the things my students tell me is that they were blown away by the learning portion of Six Pack Dads and the mindset and the inspiration. I mean, it's a dense course. And honestly, it's 80% psychology and maybe 20% of the mechanics actually, let's break that 20% down into like 10% workouts, 10% diet, but it's 80% psychology and mindset. And I just want people to know that whatever you want in life, it is possible. You are not stuck where you are. Like if you think it's impossible to get a six pack, it's going to be impossible for you. But the first step is to change your mind and understand that I can have it. If other people have it, I can have it too. I just need to figure out how to get it. And what this does is lay out the framework for you step by step. If you just trust the process and follow along, you will get the same results. And honestly, that applies to anything you want in life. I just want people to know that I talk about this a lot in my keynote speech. So if you ever want me to book me for a talk, I'm happy to come talk to your organization about this. You can, of course, learn more at sixpackdads.com. You can also apply and see if it's a good fit for you. If the program is a good fit, we have a free application that you can fill out and learn a lot about Six Pack Dads and the things that go into it. And of course, you can always reach me at ethanking.com. That is my main website where it links out to all of my social channels. And you can always email me, and I'm just happy to help anyone in any way that you need it.
Thank you, Ethan, so very much. I appreciate you joining me. And I can't wait to see how many lives Six Pack Dads change. It's already changed mine, and I know many other people. So I appreciate your time, and I'll have to have you back on.
Oh, and wait, of course, your listeners are going to ask, well, what about Six Pack Moms? Monica doesn't want to say it, but Six Pack Moms is coming soon. Look, we were at the pool yesterday and I saw Monica has the abs showing. I was like, wow, she has her six pack. And there are certain things, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, but there are certain things that, hey, I don't speak about because I'm not a woman. I'm not a mom. So that's why I call this Six Pack Dads. And I only like to speak about things that I have authority to speak about. So Monica has came through the program. She's graduated. She has her six pack, but she's like, hey, there's some things that you don't know about once a woman's had a baby that she has to deal with. So Monica's going to be doing those modules in the Six Pack Moms course. So we look forward to that coming really, really
Yes,
soon.
coming soon, coming soon. Well, Ethan, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I want to thank Ethan for joining us here on the podcast today. All of his contact information and links that he mentioned can be found in the show notes. Do you currently have a side hustle? What are some of your struggles? How are you balancing your day job and your side hustle? Please pop over to Instagram and share. I would love to hear from you. One of the things Ethan mentioned in this episode also is mindset. We're going to talk more about that in the next couple of shows. What role does mindset play in your entrepreneurial pursuits? Join us next week to find out. Thank you so much for listening today. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Stitched for Success. I like to post quick business tips or inspiration just to help you grow your business. If you are already subscribed to the podcast, thank you so much for your support. If you're not, please take a minute to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast. You can rate the podcast on Apple or on Audible. Thanks again for tuning in. And for all of my dads out there, six pack or not, happy Father's Day. I hope you have an enjoyable one.